Goki Genyo, homies. Wade Willis here to break down episode 23 of Higurashi Go. And I just got to start off with WTF. Like, this was probably the most shocking episode to me uh, in Go. I mean, where Rika was like fatality like 300 times in one episode, that was like up there pretty high. This blew me away in kind of a different way. Like, I wasn't like horrified watching what was happening. I was just like, wow, that I cannot believe what I'm seeing. And it took me for a loop that was very different than Higurashi normally does. Usually there's like a murder or something that like surprises you. This was like, oh, this person's not a dickhead anymore. Or is trying not to be a dickhead anymore. So absolutely insane. And guys, before I go any further, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel. Tons of When They Cry coverage on this channel. I'm doing my Umineko playthrough. I just posted another video of that. I'm starting to really get into some crazy shit in that now. And yeah, well, it looks like we might have Higurashi longer than we expected, so maybe I will get more of a dent into Umineko than I initially thought I was going to be able to. So, but yeah, check that out, guys. Yeah, guys, I'm going to start off with breaking down kind of what happened in this episode, stuff that really stuck out to me, and then I'm going to go into theories and all that jazz. So I already mentioned this was absolutely shocking, and obviously I'm talking about Tepe, like that whole, I mean, really last third of the episode was all revolving around him and kind of the changes in him from being able to see all these past lives and how horrific they all ended and how bad of a person he is. Um, and before that, we kind of started off with it was kind of like a playful. Satoko's like playing a card game, and we see that she's restarting things over and over again so that she can memorize things and like win in this card game. Again, showing she can memorize things. Yet another strike against her for being able to memorize any math formulas. But I've been beating a dead horse on this. I just like to make jokes about it. But yeah, she's doing the snap thing, and to me that meant that she was restarting. Now is she murdering Rika then herself every time just to win this card game? I'm assuming that's what happens, which is absolutely insane. It would have been kind of crazy to like actually have them show that if that's what happened, and you're like, wow, what a psychopath. Or and like to my knowledge, for Rika to be in the same loop as her, Rika has to die. So, in theory, I think she is killing Rika every time that happens, or else they can kind of get separated in fragments. So that's how I'm taking it. If I'm wrong in my interpretation of that, let me know in the comments, guys. In this game, Stoko is like talking to one of the kids, and she talks about how she set up all these traps and stuff. And I'm gonna get more into like the whole trap idea, which pretty much all of Go is kind of traps by Satoko. Oh, and we had the most anticlimactic reveal in this. So everyone's been calling the god deity that looks exactly like Feathering this whole time. Um, and we got some interesting information. Satoko asked her name, and she kind of says like, "I don't have a name," and it seems like the consciousness, or and again, if I'm interpreting this wrong, guys, again, let me know in the comments. I watched the episode twice through, but sometimes uh, this stuff's a bit up, like kind of wild to kind of interpret. And how I took it as is that she had existence, but like her whole consciousness didn't come into being until Satoko touched that horn. I thought that was very interesting, and that leaves some of your guys' theories, and I'll probably touch into that at the end, um, about who she could be other than Feathering, or just some other theories of who it is. It actually opened the door to that a little bit, I thought. Satoko, she's like she's talking to Eua, and I believe I'm pronouncing that right. It was just from moans that Satoko had. Regardless, Eua, she tells Toko, they have a discussion, and she educates her on, yeah, anyone that's like kind of close to people who are loopers end up remembering things from these loops. And um, that's something we've noticed. Like Keiichi had kind of had some situations, and Reina was the one who was really remembering stuff a lot and kind of making some interesting comments. And some people assumed earlier on that maybe she was like pulling the strings somehow because she was saying these things. There's other evidence to support Reina being probably important later on, but yeah, the whole remembering things looks like virtually that's happening to everyone. And Satoko mentions that in every single loop that someone else is affected by their memory being like jogged by something. And we learned that once this memory is like accumulated, no matter how many loops you do, you cannot erase those memories. So that was super interesting to me, and I thought was going to be very important, especially for the part with Tepe later on. The whole Tepe part was really mind-boggling because I mean, even when I was doing my live reaction to it, I'm like, yeah, like there's like part of the episode he's just getting beat up on. We see him dead in other parts, and I'm like, yeah, no one's shedding tears over this right now. And then we proceed to have like a redemption, like not really redemption. We can't forgive him for anything he did. Did horrible things, but he's trying to make amends with someone that he abused, and I thought um, they did a great job in this, showing kind of the process that someone who realizes they've made mistakes and they've harmed someone is going through to try to again make amends. To me, Go, like one of the best parts about Higurashi Go is the way it's been able to give us conflicting feelings about people, about different characters. We see here Tepe. Man, he actually is trying, is like, and he's not a good dude, that's for sure, but again, realizes he was making mistakes and tries to make amends. We get to the end of the episode, and he tries to like shake her hand, and just Stoko seeing his hand makes her like tremble in fear, like with her PTSD, and she cannot get past it at that point. In that scene, that really struck a chord with me, probably more than any other scene in Higurashi. Like, yeah, I felt like disgusted or sad and things, but just how bad I felt for each person. Again, I should not feel bad at all for Tepe, but he is trying, realizes he made mistakes. Um, what he did was wrong, and he is making an attempt to make amends and be a better uncle. And he wants to, he's trying to do it. Satoko cannot accept it. It like repulses her, just, you mean, his hand. And she's not able to accept it back. And just seeing the pain and anguish from both of them in that situation was so heartbreaking and done so well. I thought that was like incredible writing in that scene. Now I'm gonna get into like theories and breaking down things a lot further, because this whole episode made, to me, again, that part where we see that she still has PTSD, okay, horrible. But it does not make Toko look good for a previous arc in Go, Tadari Damashi arc, and because in that she's going through the process saying that she's being like showing that she's like being abused by Tepe, and if all of these things are accumulated and Tepe is actually feeling this and realizes he needs to become a better person, in all likelihood he was not abusing her in that arc, because again, that arc is forward in time from what we were just seeing now. At least that's what we're led to believe. And like, it's not just one of those dice roll things where all of a sudden he's a nice guy. Like, this is knowledge that is accumulated with him. This is probably something that he's going to do something similar. He's not going to just be moving in with Satoko and trying to beat her up. Um, in my opinion, maybe there's going to be something that flips it on its head next episode. Wouldn't be surprised. But at this point, it's looking like, okay, he probably wasn't beating her. So she was faking everything in that arc. Yeah, it's a tough look for Satoko, guys. Again, I I don't want to be so disappointed in her character. Again, very interesting. Like the way they're writing this part with her and the turn, it's incredibly interesting. I thought the turn was going to be a lot quicker. They're really taking their time with this, and I think it's done really well. It's like more disturbing to me knowing that she did do the 100 years of loops, still decided she wants to torture Rika instead of like seeing all the crap Rika went through uh, to save everyone. Uh, and just that's horrible. And she still decides she needs to torture Rika. And then you see that Tepe actually is trying to become a better person, and she does like a thing where she's kind of framing him and faking abuse from him, and we see how that all unfolds in that arc. And in that arc, to me, I did not see. And maybe I missed it when I rewatched the arc today, but I didn't see him actually hit Satoko. There were flashbacks to previous in Higurashi where you saw that he abused her, but to me, I did not see him actually abuse her in that arc. And you hear her talk about it when she's talking to Keiichi about like how things went down with Oishi and like he got taken into the police station and all of this stuff. We don't see Satoko's face, and I have a feeling in maybe the next episode or another one, they're going to show the scene again, and you're going to see like a sinister look on her face while she's kind of telling Keiichi all these lies. Because in that arc, how is Tepe attacking Keiichi when he is in the police station? They're not just going to release him when Satoko says that he was abusing her. That's not how that works. Like, same day, too, I believe, or so quickly at least. So, I find some issues with that. The fact that Satoko took him there, Keiichi there, and then Oishi has the bat that Keiichi used to kill him in one of the arcs, Satoshi's bat, and that's what he uses to attack Keiichi. That's also very suspicious to me. I feel like she had a plan, and after all of that stuff goes through, and Keiichi ends up, I believe, killing Tepe at least, or severely injuring him, but I believe he's dead. We see like Satoko kind of like she looks like someone straight from a horror movie that's kind of like possessed or like lost their mind. The way she's like walking with her head down, it was very ghoulish and kind of disturbing when I initially saw it, and then now seeing all this stuff, I'm like, okay, that's even more disturbing. That scene in that same arc, Oishi shows up with that bat too. Um, and I'm assuming it's right after Keiichi like kills Tepe with it, and that's what Oishi comes in attacking with that bat and then is like shooting people too. But it's one of those things that they do on purpose in the show. He didn't need to come in with a bat; like he could have just like shot people the whole time. So I think the bat's going to be important. At the end of that arc, Reina tells Keiichi like it looks like it's fall because there's leaves, and says like, "Oh yeah," says everything that happened with Oishi, and tells Keiichi that Satoko was killed. Although we actually never see her killed in that arc, I think that's a bit important. And yeah, the fact that Reina was the one that survived, that gives some of you Reina folks I feel like that's going to be a very important arc. There could be something interesting brewing with Reina if they dive deeper into that arc in the next episode. One theory, and I think most people can really get behind this, and Tommy Vasquez in my comments in my reaction video, he really broke down like the trap theory and how Satoko, like how he saw it, that Satoko was doing it in each arc, and I thought he did a really good job on that. It's pretty in depth, so if you want to check that out, check out in my comments in my reaction video. I thought he did a cool job, like really breaking that down. In his theory, she's kind of just letting Rika believe, like, oh, by doing how Rika normally works, just the minimal thing. Oh, if I just talk to Keiichi about this, or make sure this doll is given to this person, everything will be okay. And she leaves these little breadcrumbs so that Rika will like kind of bite on it and then flips it on its head. And that is a very Satoko thing. So I gotta agree with the kind of trap theory, and she mentioned traps in this episode as well. And then elephant in the room, guys, like we've been talking about a season 2. Looks like we're getting just way more episodes in this season. They're showing up to 30 episodes on the channel that is covering this show, and I've seen it looks like it's going to be at least 31, because usually they like let everyone know when it's the last episode, and they didn't do that for episode 30, which they showed for Higurashi. So it's looking like 31. It's not completely confirmed, but television company that is showing Higurashi is showing up to 30 episodes, and I don't think that there's been a history of them messing up on those things for their guides. So I'm incredibly pumped for that, and that gives us a lot of options here. So looks like for sure we know that we're going to have at least one more arc, but I think they're gonna use the next episode to kind of tie up all the loose ends with things from Satoko's point of view. I'm still like shocked that they did not show Go, like all the Go episodes, like speed run through Satoko's POV. But yeah, we got even more, and I actually like that they added this in. It was such a great touch. I could see something similar to what they did with Tepe, but with Takano next episode too. That's another option. We're gonna have a Takano redemption arc, and I think this Tepe thing really set up a major Takano redemption arc, especially since they talked about people who are like have ties close to the Looper are affected by these memories. And I would say probably the person who killed Rika like over 100 times probably gonna have some major uh, mental issues from doing that and getting those memories. So my kind of last theory, because I've kind of talked about a lot of different stuff with Sakonia, like Umineko being tied in, all that stuff. I've gotten into a lot of it. Reina being very important. Gone in depth about Takano and Satoshi as well. The last like core of this season will be, I think it will be end up being the Burnkastel birth arc. And I don't know if birth is the right word for it, but I think it's where uh, we're going to see Rika actually turn into Burnkastel. Go kind of overall is kind of setting that up, and I think that will lead to maybe a crossover with Umineko, Sakonia. There's a lot of things they could do with there that I've talked about before, but I really feel like we're going to see Rika change completely, because if you think, yes, Rika's done things that are not right, okay, but having someone that you love and care for so much just go through everything that Satoko's gone through and the path she chose to take to try to punish you and teach you a lesson and just mentally break you, the effect emotionally on you, you would almost become dead inside from that. And I really feel for Rika in the aftermath of finding out all this stuff, and I think that will be kind of the last arc. It'll be Rika battling Stoko, but um, yeah, I think it'll really be about the birth of Bernkastel. And yeah, guys, let me know your theories in the comments below. If you're going into Umineko spoilers, make sure you write Umineko spoilers and then return a bunch of times because I am doing that playthrough. Yeah, don't forget to check that out if you love Umineko or you haven't even played it. Like check out my playthrough. I am doing the PS3 sprites and the 07th mod now, which a lot of people have been asking me for. So check that out. It's a ton of fun. I'm like super into it. I'm probably like 40 hours in and still just at the tip of the iceberg. So it is a beast. So, but yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And again, thanks for all your guys' support on these When They Cry videos. It's been a lot of fun in the community, and I'm so pumped that we're getting these extra episodes because that's like extra weeks of me like interacting with you guys about this show and theorizing and stuff. That made me really excited when I saw that. So, yeah, guys, thanks for watching.